You know, this electricity is costing me a lot of money, so make sure you put some money in my Patreon account. I'm broke. The Honda Type R is one of the nicest street racers around, but is there a way to make it better? Well, someone thinks so. You take all those nice Honda Type R mechanicals, stick it in its sister brand, Acura, put it in the model Integra, and charge more money. How much money? Well, here's an Acura build sheet for when they're going to be sending me. Here's the price and some options. And here's the total tab. Almost 10 grand more than the Honda Type R I had a few months ago. So we're at our warehouse and test facility. Let's open the door and roll this baby out. This is the 7th car in a row I've had where they charge extra for a paint job. A new gimmick all the car makers are doing. $600 for this metallic white. Looks pretty good. And here's the Acura styling that everybody might recognize. With the Type S emblems, so everybody knows you spent the extra money over a standard Integra. Got those fancy red brakes, giant disc, and Michelin Sport tires. And here we are from the rear, and yeah, a lot of stuff coming out of that exhaust when you're hitting 7,000 RPM. Kind of weird to have 3 exhausts for 4 cylinders, but whatever. One of the first things we do to get a vehicle is check and see if there's a spare tire. No, there's not. Just a little inflator kit down under the floor. That's why I have this big giant box with my own inflator kits and giant air pumps, just in case you get a flat. But you really should get a spare if you're going out of town. Don't depend on a tiny little inflator. And as we do in all our videos, we take the headlights out in the dark and do a night drive. That's a separate video we already posted on YouTube. You're not going to miss it if you didn't see it, because we'll have a link for that at the end of this video. And you might as well watch it if you're watching this. And similar to what you'll find in the Honda Type R, our favorite engine, 2 liters, 320 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, although it does go a bit higher, 7,000 or so. Torque is 310 pounds-feet at 2,600 RPM. 0 to 60 time claimed to be 5.1 seconds, which is pretty close. I haven't timed it with a stopwatch, but yeah, it's pretty close. This thing's not slow. Fuel economy is claimed to be 21 mpg in the city, 28 on the highway, and 24 average overall. We take this out on the highway and see if these figures are true. And if 320 ponies doesn't sound like much, remember this is a light car, only 3,200 pounds. It's a slim one. And these motors are extremely reliable if they're maintained. Very trouble-free. Let's go to the transmission. In the old days, automatics were slow. Manual transmissions offer best performance, acceleration, and fuel economy. Nowadays, it's kind of reversed. The automatics are superior, the manuals are not. There are exceptions to every rule, and this is one. This Honda/Acura motor really thrives at high RPM. It's just begging for a manual gearbox, and this nice slick manual gearbox is just begging for an engine that thrives at high RPM. It's a good match. I can't see getting this car in an automatic. If you like shifting, this is one car where you'll not be disappointed. Now, in the Honda Type R version, they have metal shift knobs, and they sit in the sun, they burn your hand. This one, we have some synthetic material here, but this might burn your hand on a hot summer day. You might still have to put a cloth over it when you're parked, but this is a little more comfortable to use. Here you have the drive mode controls. We have a lot of glare here on a sunny day. I'll try to put a shade over here. We got individual mode. Then you have Sport, Sport Plus, and Comfort. Oh, warning, warning. We get hard controls for the climate. Thank you very much. The way it should be. Few simple knobs, few simple buttons. The way they should be on all cars, but unfortunately not as much anymore. A decent sized glove box. A nice gauge cluster, and as you can see there's a lot of glare coming out, but it's only on my camera. In person, I don't see any glare at all, so don't worry about what you're seeing here. I'm trying to get rid of the reflections, but it's a cloudy day and I just can't do anything about it. But you will not have a problem in person with this, trust me. And here's what the camera system looks like. The info screen isn't very big, but this is a small car. You get a small screen. That's the way it works. Here's some fuel economy numbers, and again, you see a lot of reflections, but it's going in the camera. I don't see it in person, so don't worry about it. Here we have 212 miles, 23.8, 21.8, 22.6, 25.0. These were all done in city driving or mixed commuting. We're doing some more driving and more figures for you and doing a highway test as well, at least 120 miles to get some better numbers, so that'll be later on the video, so don't go away. Supposedly you can fit 3 people back here, but I think it's only going to be 2 and not too tall and not too big, but it's a small car, so again, small car, small seats, small screens. That's what you get when you get a small vehicle. Don't complain. I can't complain about the rocker panels. They're just too wide, and you have this outside panel that collects all this garbage, as you can see, which gets on your pants. That's why I'm wearing gym clothes. If you're wearing white pants, you better get some Windex or something and paper towels and wipe this off. If you live where there's a lot of rain, mud, or snow, this is going to require your immediate attention and often. I found these seats a bit more practical than the ones you get in the Honda Type R for daily commuting, but for long trips, I found them a bit too soft for me. My butt was hurting after about 100 miles, but that's just me, maybe not you. Thought I'd mention it though. Alright, part 1 show and tell is over. Part 2, let's go out and do some driving. Get some fuel economy numbers too. By the way, this has a heads-up display that goes up in the windshield. Apparently you can't turn it off. You can only adjust the brightness or the elevation, and I put it down as low as I could because I don't want to see it, and I turned the brightness down as low as I could because I don't want to see it, and I guess it just wasn't enough. So the only solution is to take a rag and stick it down the rabbit hole. Here we go. That's how you do it. A black piece of cardboard works better than a big stuffy rag. This is all I've got at the moment. The power steering setup on this is excellent. Good feel, feedback, response. I don't think there will be any gripes. As we do in all our videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps at 15 miles per hour and see how the suspension performs and impact, and that was pretty smooth. You hear any clunky noises, it's all the stuff I got in the trunk, not the car rattling. Here comes bump number 2. Very comfortable. And the big nasty one. Pretty smooth. This is a dual personality car. In day-to-day commuting, there's nothing exciting here. Low RPM, there's no horsepower. There's an awful lot of tire noise coming up through the suspension and entering the cabin. Basically, it drives just like another base Acura or a Honda Civic. If you want to really experience the car, you need to take it out and run it hard, and that comes up with the next clip because we're taking this out in the boonies tonight. So let's fast forward and go there. If you want to drive this Type S the way it was meant to be, first thing you do is you take it out of comfort mode and put it in sport mode, or sport plus if you're more adventurous, as we're going to be here. Then you get on a nice winding road like this, open up that engine to 7,000 RPM so you can understand how that Honda racing technology works. Use the 6-speed manual gearbox, which is very slick, with a nice light clutch. And if you're running downhill like I am, you'll find these brakes are absolutely fantastic. Bring you to a complete stop if needed and don't seem to ever overheat. Now the car has come alive. That's what we're paying for here. Be sure not to run over the side because there's no guardrails. I don't think Honda or Acura would like that when they want the car back. I bring a lot of my European sports sedans out on this road. Mercedes, Audi, BMW. nice little Acura. Be some good competition for them. Very impressive. If you buy an Acura Type S, you're not driving roads like this, you're really not getting your money's worth. You'll notice I'm driving at night because there's less traffic out here, but for the maximum information, you might want to see our night drive video and see how these headlights perform overall. On high beam, they're pretty good. At low beam, not so much. But that's for the other video, not here. You gotta watch them both. I know the price tag on this car is rather expensive, but when you're driving like this, you don't really care. You're enjoying yourself. And that's what it's all about. Plus, being a Honda product, I don't have to worry about breaking down in the middle of nowhere, as I would on certain other brands of Europe descent. I won't mention any names, you know who they are. Bottom line, like its cousin, the Honda Civic Type R, this is a street racer. It's meant to be driven that way. And if you do so, you'll be very, very pleased. Since I went to all the trouble to drive all the way out in the sticks, I might as well do a fuel economy test going back. Actually, I did one coming here, but didn't record it on the camera. It was just around 30 mpg, but we'll drive it a little smoother and slower and see if we can bump it up just a wee bit. At highway speeds, we're pulling around 2,700 RPM for those who want to know stuff like that. We'll put this back in comfort mode. Even so, this really isn't a vehicle for long highway trips. There's an awful lot of noise coming up from the tires and suspension. Kind of gets annoying after a while. Right now we're on some pebble-type pavement, and I'm feeling and hearing every bump coming up to the seat. Nothing serious, but I don't think I want to experience this for over an hour or two. That could be a problem. Now that I've run into some super smooth pavement, everything's just fine, but you don't always have the luxury of finding a smooth road, do you? 31.8 mpg, keep it around 75 miles per hour. That is our official number. So what's my take on this Type S Acura after a week of driving? Well, if I had the choice between this and the Honda Type R, and somebody just handed me the keys, I'd take the Acura. Looks a lot nicer, a little more sophisticated. I think the real question is, if I had 51 grand, would I buy this or a BMW or Audi? And that I'm not so sure. I know the Acura is going to last a lot longer than the German cars once the warranty goes out. That's certainly a selling point. And then there's the styling. I'll just have to leave that up to you. You want to see how this drives in the dark and how the headlights perform? Here's a link coming up. And I suggest you watch it because we had some issues about these lights we didn't pretty care for. Nothing serious, but hey, you're already here. Watch the video, right?